What's good, y'all? Now, we're finna react to Thomas Sowell. Who really was Karl Marx? The early life of Karl Marx. It's actually interesting, man. I don't know if the early life matters of Karl Marx. I don't know why people do that. It's what we should really be worried about is his ideas. Were his ideas effective or were they ineffective? Does some of his ideas are they good for society or are they not good for society? I don't know. We about to find out though. Y'all know what to do. Subscribe if you like me. If you don't like me, it's cool. Don't care. Well, I do care if you like me. I'm somewhat of a people pleaser to a degree. To a degree. But at the same time, I really don't care. Let's hop in the video. Oh.
After a century of myths and counter-myths, of deification and demonizing, it is hard to realize that behind all the portraits and caricatures to be seen on printed pages and on banners, there really was a flesh and blood human being named Karl Marx. He was born in the little German town of Trier in the Rhineland in 1818, in a 3-story townhouse in a fashionable...
What book is they reading from? It's not saying the book he's reading from. Okay, let's go.
...part of town. A baron lived nearby, and his 4-year-old daughter was destined to become Karl Marx's wife. The people who signed as witnesses on Karl Marx's birth certificate were prominent citizens. The Marxists, like their neighbors and friends, had servants, property, education, and local prominence. Unlike most of their neighbors and friends, however, both Heinrich Marx and his wife Henrietta were descended from a long line of rabbis. Indeed, the town's chief rabbi was his brother, but they were brothers estranged.
Y'all know this is a blind reaction, because I think this whole thing is going to be reading from a book. And I guess we can critique his life a little bit. But I thought he was going to say things about his life that, I don't know. Let's keep going, though. Let's keep going.
From each other, since Heinrich Marx had abandoned the faith of his fathers. Karl Marx was baptized a Lutheran, and throughout his life he spoke of Jews in the third person, and seldom complimentarily. Marx was the third child born in his family, the second to survive, and the oldest boy. Younger brothers and sisters were born annually for the next 4 years, and then 2 more at 2-year intervals. The father was a prosperous lawyer who also owned vineyards, as well as houses whose rents supplemented his income. He was a man of wide culture and political liberalism. His son idolized him, and in later years spoke of him often to his own children, though they had never seen him, his death having occurred decades before. Marx's mother was Dutch and spoke German with a heavy Dutch accent. She was a devoted housewife, not a woman of learning, and though her son loved her in childhood, they were soon estranged in his early adulthood. When she died, many years later, Marx expressed not the slightest sorrow. Karl Marx grew up a brilliant, spoiled child who bullied his younger sisters and taunted his schoolmates with sarcastic witticisms.
That's funny, man. Y'all trying to... they try so hard to... What was that? They try so hard to discredit the life of Karl Marx, man. Trying so hard because they don't like his ideas. And I think it's funny. I'm here for it, though. I'm going to keep listening. Let's see.
In addition to entertaining both with imaginative stories, he had a swarthy complexion that in later years earned him the nickname the Moor, a name used far more often in his inner circle, including his children, than was his real name. His neighbor, Baron von Westphalen, took a great interest in Marx as a youth, and the learned baron would often take long walks with him discussing Homer, Shakespeare, Voltaire, or other great writers in any of a number of languages that the baron spoke. As a young man, Karl Marx attended the University of Bonn for 1 year.
He did.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter,
JT.
search engine for conservatives. Let me just tell you what it does. First of all,
there, he was an enthusiastic student.
That's funny because the ad thinks I'm a conservative. Like that's crazy how technology really worked though. Like it think what it think you is, it'll send you the ad. But then again, I'm watching conservative videos. Like when I watch liberal videos, the ad thinks I'm a liberal, so they'll send me liberal ads. It's crazy, isn't it? I don't know. I just think that's crazy. I don't know. Like, it's good though. Like, I know we all know. I'm not acting stupid about it. I know that AI damn near controls the world right now. It's creating these echo chambers. But let's go.
But also an enthusiastic drinker, and took part in rowdiness and at least one duel.
Ooh.
His father transferred him to the University of Berlin, a larger and more serious institution. But the self-indulgent bohemian and spendthrift habits that Marx had exhibited at Bonn continued at Berlin, where he was sued several times for non-payment of debts. His father's letters show growing recriminations directed not only at his son's prodigious capacity to waste money, a talent he never lost throughout his life, but also at a more disturbing personal characteristic, egomania. One of Marx's many poems of this period says, "Then I will wander godlike and victorious through the ruins of the world, and, giving my words an active force, I will feel equal to the Creator." The themes of destruction, corruption, and savagery run through Marx's poems of this era, two of which were published in a small literary magazine at the time under the title Savage Songs. There was nothing political about these writings. Marx had not yet turned his attention in that direction. He was simply, as one biographer said, a man with the peculiar faculty for relishing disaster.
You know what? I gotta say it, man. I don't care if I'm reading about Trump or I don't care if I'm reading about Trump or if I'm reading about Biden. I really wish the world had a lot less biased sources when they listen to certain information. Like, he's using the bad things in Karl Marx's early life to paint a picture out about Karl Marx, to try to discredit the theories that Marx came up with. That's not how you discredit it's not how you discredit the theories. We look at the ideas and we analyze, are they effective or can they be effective in society? Has society ever implemented an effective socialism? If not, why? If not either, why? If not, why? Or do we scrap socialism as an entirety? This is all the question, right? It's all we can ask this question all across the board, and like just trying to discredit his early life doesn't stop the drive for more people wanting socialism. We have to find a way to either make capitalism better, if you are on that side of it, make capitalism better so that people can take care of themselves as society, or we find a way to make socialism actually effective. Period. Like, talking about people's early life, you ain't really, I mean, I'm being honest, like, you're not really doing nothing here. Like, I'll give it a little more of a listen.
A contemporary description of Marx as a student depicts the same demonic personality, again, not yet in a political context. But who advances here, full of impetuosity? It is a dark form from Trier, an unleashed monster. With self-assured step he hammers the ground with his heels, and raises his arms in all fury to heaven, as though he wished to seize the celestial vault and lower it to earth. In rage he continually deals with his redoubtable fist, as if 1,000 devils were gripping his hair. In short, Marx's angry apocalyptic visions existed before he discovered capitalism as the focus of such visions. Marx entered the University of Berlin a few years after the death of its most famous professor, G.W.F. Hegel, whose posthumous influence was even greater than during his lifetime. Marx began to associate with a group called the Young Hegelians, who were preoccupied with philosophy in general and religion in particular, or rather with atheism, for they were radical critics of Christianity.
And I want y'all to like dive into Hegel, right? Even if you're a Christian, just be unbiased. Just try to listen to what Hegel had to say, right? What Hegel had to say, and a lot of the people at that time, they were challenging the status quo of society. Does society have to be this bad? Can't it be a lot better, right? And that's what Karl Marx was getting at, man. Karl Marx, when he found that group, he started out, thinking dark of the world, and he had a very dark perception of the world based on what this guy's actually sees. He's only focusing on the negative side of his life, but he started off with that. And then he ended up changing the world. And towards the end of his life, which is what happens with every person when you give them time to grow, towards the end of his life, he started diving into anthropology. And he was diving into anthropology because he noticed that there was a beauty behind the nature of life. That everything doesn't have to be extremely negative. There could be some extremely positive things about the world. And even towards capitalism, if you really like look at a lot of things, he wasn't he was critiquing capitalism in a sense of, could we make this better, or can we just scrap this entirely? Like if we can't make this better, can we just scrap this entirely and come up with a better system that's more effective for the people? And he came up with ideas that seemed to be laid out in society in certain ways, like, for example, social programs that are effective to our society. So, yeah, that's Thomas Sowell, y'all. I'm gonna get on out of here with that one. This is bias. I'm being fair, man. Like, I love Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell is a really intelligent person, but a biased source. Like, if you're being completely biased in the scenario now, like, I would challenge the fact of Thomas Sowell being able to say anything positive about anything Marx had to say. And then, just like I do to the other side, I would challenge them. If you can say anything positive about capitalism, I think then we can have a conversation. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here, y'all.